The sun was low in the sky, casting a soft orange light over the grand city of Illyria. It was the capital of the Zandari Empire, a powerful alien civilization far from Earth. Tall silver towers rose high, shimmering in the sunset. The streets were busy with aliens of many kinds, some walking, some flying. At the center of this great city stood the royal palace, a huge structure of crystal and metal that seemed to glow softly. Inside the palace, Princess Arelyn stood on a balcony. She was young but fierce, with bright blue skin and sharp green eyes. Her long silver hair moved in the light breeze. She looked down at the crowd gathered in the large square below. Thousands had come to hear her speak. Arelyn was known for her strong will and sharp tongue. Today she was ready to say something that would shock many. Her voice rang out clear and strong. "I would never bond with a human," she declared. The crowd gasped. Some whispered in surprise. The word human was often spoken with suspicion or fear on Zandari worlds. Humans were seen as strange, weak, and dangerous. Arelyn's words were bold. Many expected alien royalty to avoid humans or keep peace with them quietly. But she spoke openly and clearly. "Humans are untrustworthy and weak. I will never connect my life to one of them." Her words echoed across the square. Some people nodded in agreement, while others looked worried. The Zandari Empire had lived in peace with humans for years, but old fears died slowly. Arelyn turned away from the crowd and went back inside the palace. She was proud and sure of her words. She did not want to be tied to a human. She wanted to lead her people on her own terms. But fate had other plans. 2 days later, the palace was full of tension. The royal council gathered in the large chamber, their faces grim. Outside, dark clouds covered the sky. A threat loomed over the empire. "The Retharans have attacked our outer colonies," said High Commander Valen. His voice was cold but urgent. "The Retharans were a fierce alien race known for their cruelty and war machines. They move fast," Valen continued. "If we do not act, they will destroy more of our worlds." The council members looked to the princess. As the future leader, she had to make decisions that could save her people, or risk everything. Arelyn stood tall. She felt the weight of her responsibility but kept her fierce expression. "We must prepare for war," she said, "and protect what is ours." The council agreed, but there was a problem. The Zandari military was stretched thin. They needed help, fast. The Emperor, Arelyn's father, turned to a human diplomat standing nearby. "Can your people send soldiers?" he asked. The diplomat bowed. "We will send our best," he promised. Arelyn heard this but said nothing. Inside, she felt a mix of anger and doubt. She did not trust humans. She thought they would only make things worse. Later that day, a new order came from the palace. Every important royal figure would be assigned a human soldier for protection. It was part of a new alliance strategy to build trust and strength. Arelyn was assigned Captain Marcus Kane, a skilled human soldier known for his bravery and calm under pressure. Marcus was tall, with dark hair and clear eyes. He was not like the aliens of Zandari, but he had fought in many battles and survived. When Marcus arrived at the palace, Arelyn met him with cold eyes. "I told everyone I would never bond with a human," she said. "This was a mistake." Marcus smiled gently. "I am here to protect you, Princess. Nothing more. You can trust me to do my duty." Arelyn did not respond. She turned and walked away, leaving Marcus standing alone in the vast palace hall. The days passed, and the war grew closer. Arelyn and Marcus had little to say to each other. She was proud and distant. He was patient and respectful. One morning, they trained together in the palace courtyard. Arelyn was a skilled fighter, agile and strong. Marcus watched and learned her style. "You fight well," Marcus said quietly. Arelyn looked at him. "I do not need a human to teach me." Marcus nodded. "I'm not here to teach, just to help." She scoffed but did not argue. Then, the attack came. Explosions shook the palace. Rytheran ships appeared in the sky, firing weapons that tore through the city's defenses. "Get to safety!" the palace guards shouted. Arelyn grabbed Marcus's arm. For the first time, she didn't pull away. Together, they ran through the palace halls, dodging falling debris and alarm sirens. Outside, the city was in chaos. Alien soldiers fought bravely against the Rytheran forces. Marcus fought beside Arelyn, covering her as they moved. "Stick with me," Marcus shouted. Arelyn nodded, feeling a strange trust growing inside her. They managed to escape to a hidden underground tunnel used in emergencies. The tunnel was long and dark, but it led away from the fighting. "We need to reach the safe zone," Marcus said. "It's miles from here, but we can get there." Arelyn looked at him. "Why do you care so much about me?" she asked softly. Marcus smiled. "Because your life matters, not just as a princess, but as a person." She was surprised by his words. No human had ever said something like that to her. As they traveled through the dangerous tunnels, Arelyn began to see Marcus differently. He was brave, loyal, and kind. He was not weak like she had thought. At the same time, Marcus learned about the burden Arelyn carried, the expectations, the loneliness, and the pressure of being a future leader. They talked quietly, sharing stories of their worlds. The walls between alien and human started to break down. But danger was not far behind. The Rytheran soldiers chased them into the tunnels. They had to fight their way through. Marcus fought fiercely, protecting Arelyn with skill and courage. Arelyn used her agility and sharp mind to outsmart their enemies. They were a team, though neither fully admitted it. At the end of part 1, Arelyn sits by a small fire in the dark tunnels, exhausted but alive. She looks at Marcus and says quietly, "Maybe I was wrong about humans." Marcus smiles. "We all have surprises." Outside, the distant sounds of war remind them that the fight is far from over. The tunnel was cold and dark, but the firelight flickered warmly on the faces of Princess Arelyn and Captain Marcus Kane. They sat close to the small flame, resting for a moment. Outside, the sounds of battle echoed faintly, a reminder that danger was never far away. Arelyn's body ached from the long run through the tunnels, and her mind raced with worry. The Rytherans were strong and cruel. If they caught her, the entire Zandari Empire might fall. Marcus noticed her tired eyes. "We have to keep moving," he said gently. "The safe zone is still far." She nodded, but her pride made it hard to ask for help. "I am not a child human," she said. "I can fight my own battles." Marcus smiled, understanding her pride. "You are strong, Princess, but even the strongest need help sometimes." After a short rest, they stood up and continued their journey deeper into the tunnels. The air grew damp and cold. Strange sounds echoed from the dark corners. Distant drips of water, the faint scratching of small creatures. They moved carefully, always watching for enemies. Suddenly, a loud crash shook the tunnel. Rocks fell from the ceiling, blocking their path. Arelyn looked at Marcus, alarmed. "We are trapped!" Marcus examined the rubble quickly. "We can clear a path," he said, "but it will take time." They set to work, moving rocks and debris. Their hands grew raw, but they worked well together. During the work, Arelyn noticed Marcus's calm strength. His presence made the impossible feel possible. Slowly, her fear began to change into respect. When the tunnel was clear, they continued walking. The princess spoke quietly for the first time since the attack. "Why did your people send soldiers to help us?" she asked. Marcus thought for a moment. "Because your people are important. Because peace matters. Humans want to prove we can be trusted." Arelyn was surprised by his honesty. No one had ever told her the truth so plainly. "I did not want to trust humans," she admitted. But you make me question that. Marcus smiled warmly. Trust is hard to give, but once it's given, it grows strong. The journey was long, and the dangers many. The tunnels twisted and turned like a maze. Sometimes the princess and the soldier had to hide from Ritharan patrols. One night, as they rested in a small cave, Arelyn spoke again. "I never asked to be a princess," she said softly. "I never wanted this life." Marcus looked at her, surprised. "Then why do you fight so hard?" "Because my people need me," she said. "Because if I do not protect them, no one will." Marcus nodded. "That is courage." They sat in silence for a moment, the fire casting shadows on their faces. The next day they reached a narrow bridge crossing a deep chasm. The bridge was old and looked fragile. As they crossed carefully, the bridge suddenly shook. "Hold on!" Marcus shouted. A Ritharan soldier appeared on the other side, firing a weapon. Arelyn dodged quickly but slipped near the edge. Marcus grabbed her arm just in time. "Stay close," he said, pulling her to safety. They fought side by side, using their combined skills. Arelyn's quick moves and Marcus's strength made them a powerful team. After the fight, Arelyn looked at Marcus differently. She realized that fighting with him was better than fighting alone. As they moved on, Marcus noticed something strange in the princess's eyes. There was fear, but also determination. She was changing. Later, they reached a small village hidden underground. The people there were scared but kind. They offered food and rest. The village leader, an old alien named Joran, spoke with Arelyn. "You have the courage of a true leader," Joran said. "But the Ritharans are more dangerous than we thought." Arelyn thanked him but was worried. "We need to warn the capital," she said. Marcus nodded. "We have to stop the enemy before they destroy everything." Suddenly, alarms sounded in the village. Ritharan forces had found them. "We must leave now," Marcus said, grabbing Arelyn's hand. They ran through the village as people fought off the attackers. Arelyn helped the villagers escape, using her agility and skill. Marcus covered their backs, firing at the enemy. Together, they led the survivors to safety, proving that their teamwork was more than just luck. That night, safe for a moment, Arelyn and Marcus sat by a fire again. "I never thought I would say this," Arelyn said quietly, "but I am glad you are with me." Marcus smiled. "I'm glad too, Princess." The bond between them grew stronger, built on trust, respect, and shared danger. But the greatest challenge was still ahead. The Ritharans were planning a final attack on the capital. The princess and the human soldier had to return quickly and prepare to defend their people. They looked at the sky, knowing the battle for their worlds was not over. The journey back to the capital was long and dangerous. Princess Arelyn and Captain Marcus Kane moved quickly through the rocky landscape. The sky was gray and heavy, with dark clouds covering the sun. The air was thick with tension. They knew. The Ritharans were close behind. Arelyn kept a watchful eye on the horizon. The princess was strong, but even she felt the weight of fear growing inside her. She had never wanted to rely on anyone, especially not a human. Yet here she was, moving through enemy land with Marcus, the man she had once vowed never to bond with. As they crossed a narrow valley, a sudden explosion shook the ground beneath them. Rocks tumbled from the hillsides, blocking their path. The Ritharans had set a trap. "Run!" Marcus shouted, grabbing Arelyn's arm. They sprinted toward a small cave opening barely visible behind some bushes. Inside, the cave was dark and cold. They collapsed against the wall, breathing hard. Arelyn touched her side and winced. She felt sharp pain. "I think I'm hurt," she said quietly. Marcus examined her quickly. "You're bleeding. We need to stop it." He pulled out a small medical kit from his pack. His hands worked carefully as he cleaned and wrapped the wound. Arlen watched him, surprised by his skill. "You are more than just a soldier," she said softly. Marcus smiled. "I learned a few things. Healing is as important as fighting." They rested in the cave, but the danger was not over. Arlen's injury was serious. Without proper care, she could lose too much blood. "We have to find help," Marcus said. "There is a medical station near the capital." Arlen nodded. "Lead the way." The princess had never felt so vulnerable before. She had always been proud and independent. Now she needed help, and not just from anyone, but from a human. The next day, they moved slowly toward the city. Arlen's strength was fading, and Marcus had to support her. As they traveled, Marcus explained an ancient Zandari ritual that could save her life. It was called the bonding ceremony, a deep connection between two beings that shared life force and emotions. "Why do you need that?" Arlen asked, worried. "Because your body is weak now," Marcus answered. "The bond will help heal you, but it only works if you accept it." Arlen shook her head. "I said I would never bond with a human." Marcus looked at her kindly. "Sometimes we must change our minds to survive." When they reached the medical station, Arlen was too weak to stand. The doctors prepared for the ceremony. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. The bonding ceremony began. Marcus and Arlen sat facing each other, holding hands. Light from the machines surrounded them, and slowly their minds began to connect. At first, Arlen felt fear and confusion. The bond was strange and overwhelming, but soon she started to sense Marcus's calm strength, his courage, and his hope. In return, Marcus felt her pride, her pain, and her deep love for her people. The bond did more than heal Arlen's body. It opened their hearts. For the first time, the princess understood the human's true feelings. Marcus was not just a soldier. He cared for her deeply, and Marcus learned about the loneliness Arlen faced as a leader. The pressure to be strong, the fear of failure. They shared memories and dreams. Their bond grew tighter with every passing moment. After the ceremony, Arlen's health improved quickly. She stood taller, more confident. "I was wrong to judge humans," she said softly. "You have my thanks, and my trust." Marcus smiled. "Trust is the strongest weapon we have." Their new connection gave them hope. But the war was not over. The Retherans were preparing their final assault. The capital was in danger. Arlen and Marcus gathered leaders from different planets. Their bond inspired others to work together. "Only united can we win," Arlen said firmly. "Together, humans and Zandari will stand." The room was filled with hope and determination. That night, Arlen looked at Marcus and smiled. "Thank you for saving my life." Marcus looked back with respect. "We save each other." Outside, the stars shone bright. The future was uncertain, but they faced it side by side. The capital city of Illyria buzzed with energy and tension. After the bonding ceremony, Princess Arlen and Captain Marcus Kane worked together to prepare for the Retheran attack. The bond between them was stronger now, a connection that helped them understand each other in new ways. Arlen walked through the palace halls, her mind focused on the challenges ahead. Soldiers marched, weapons were repaired, and plans were drawn on glowing maps. The city had never been so alive with purpose, but also with fear. Marcus stood beside her as they watched the preparations. "Are you ready for this?" he asked. Quietly, Arlen nodded. "I must be. My people depend on me." The alliance between humans and Zandari was still new and fragile. Some in the Royal Council worried about trusting humans too much. But the princess knew that the bond she shared with Marcus was a sign of a new future, one where differences were not weaknesses, but strengths. "We need more allies," Arlen said. "Send messages to nearby systems. If we stand together, we can stop the Retherans," Marcus agreed. I'll help you reach out. They need to see the bond as a symbol of hope. Together, they worked late into the night, sending messages and organizing defenses. The next day, news arrived. Help was coming. Ships from different planets answered the call. The capital would not fight alone. Arilyn felt a surge of hope. "This is what we needed," she said. "Together, we are stronger." Marcus smiled. "Humans are proud to fight alongside you, but not everyone was happy. Some alien leaders feared change. They whispered in dark corners, doubting the bond between human and princess. "You risk everything," one council member warned. "Humans cannot be trusted." Arilyn faced the council. "Trust is built on actions, not words. Marcus has shown loyalty and courage. That is what matters." Her voice was strong and clear. The council fell silent. As the Rytheran ships approached, Illyria prepared for battle. The sky darkened with enemy vessels. The ground shook with the power of thousands of weapons. Arilyn and Marcus stood together on the palace balcony, watching the enemy fleet. "We fight not just for our homes," Arilyn said, "but for the future of all our people." Marcus reached out, taking her hand. The bond between them gave strength and courage. The battle began. Rytheran ships fired beams of energy, and Illyrian defenses responded with powerful shields and weapons. Explosions lit the sky. The sound of battle was everywhere. On the ground, soldiers fought bravely. Arilyn led from the front, her movements quick and precise. Marcus covered her, protecting her with skill and determination. Together, they inspired the soldiers around them. During a critical moment, the enemy broke through the city's defenses. A group of Rytheran warriors advanced toward the palace. "Gates! Marcus, we must stop them!" Arilyn shouted. They raced to meet the attackers. The fight was fierce. Marcus used his human strength and training, while Arilyn's agility and sharp mind made her a deadly opponent. The bond between them allowed quick communication, like they could read each other's thoughts. They moved as one. After hours of fighting, the Rytherans were pushed back. The capital held. Cheers rose from the soldiers and citizens. Illyria had survived. Arilyn stood with Marcus, exhausted, but proud. "We did it," she said softly. Marcus smiled. "Together." The victory was only the beginning. The bond between the princess and the human was now a symbol of hope for many worlds. It showed that trust and friendship could overcome old fears. Arilyn knew the road ahead would be hard, but with Marcus by her side, she believed anything was possible. That night, as the city rested, Arilyn and Marcus looked at the stars. "Our fight is not over," Arilyn said. Marcus nodded. "But now, we fight as one." The morning after the battle was quiet. The city of Illyria was covered in dust and smoke, but the spirit of its people was alive and strong. The Rytheran attack had been fierce, but the capital had held. Arilyn, the alien princess, stood on the palace balcony, looking out over the city. Her blue skin was marked with dirt and scratches, but her green eyes shone with determination. Captain Marcus Kane stood beside her, his expression serious but calm. The bond between them was no longer a secret. It was a symbol of hope and unity. Their story had spread across the galaxy, inspiring others to believe in cooperation between species. In the council chamber, leaders from many worlds gathered. The mood was hopeful, but there was still much work to do. "We must root out the Rytheran threat once and for all," Arilyn said firmly. "They will not stop until they are defeated." Marcus nodded. "And we must stand together. Humans, Zandari, and all allies, united." The council agreed to send a strike team to find and destroy the Rytheran base. Arilyn and Marcus led the strike team personally. Their bond gave them strength and a unique advantage in battle. They moved quickly, striking the enemy with precision. During the mission, they uncovered the true leader of the Retheran forces, a powerful warlord who sought to conquer the galaxy. His plan was to divide and destroy, to keep the planets weak and easy to control. The strike team fought hard, facing many dangers, but Arelyn and Marcus's teamwork inspired everyone. They were unstoppable. In the final battle, the warlord was captured, his forces scattered, and the threat of the Retharans began to fade. Back in Illyria, the people celebrated. The princess and the human soldier were hailed as heroes. Arelyn spoke to the crowd. This victory is more than just a battle won. It is proof that trust and unity can change the future. Marcus stood by her side, proud and humble. Despite the victory, Arelyn knew there was more to do. The galaxy was vast, and peace would require constant effort. She looked at Marcus and smiled. I once said I would never bond with a human. Now I cannot imagine facing the future without you. Marcus took her hand gently. And I will stand with you, always. Their bond was no longer just for survival. It was a promise of a new beginning. As new alliances formed and old fears faded, the galaxy began to change. Humans and aliens worked together, sharing knowledge and strength. Arelyn and Marcus became symbols of this new era, a reminder that courage, trust, and friendship could overcome even the greatest challenges. The story ended not with finality, but with hope. For the princess and the human soldier, their journey was just beginning. Together they would face whatever came next, stronger, united, and ready.